Dear Building Better Leaders, I recently got promoted to lead a team I've been a part of for years. I used to be one of the gang. We would vent about management and work late nights together. That sounds fun. But now that I'm their manager, everything feels ... awkward. Some team members have started treating me differently, more distant, overly formal, or worse, passive-aggressive. I'm trying not to let the power dynamic change our rapport, but maybe it already has. Some team members may be taking advantage of me too. There are moments where I hesitate to give direct feedback or hold someone accountable because I worry it will damage the relationship. I don't want to become one of those bosses, but I also know I have a job to do. How do you lead people who used to be your equals without losing the friendship?
Hard. Another one, difficult.
Yeah,
but it's very common. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
When peers, get promoted.
Yes.
I probably would. Let me start off with this.
Yes,
this is quite
please.
common. I think first of all, to the letter writer, congratulations on your promotion. Yeah. There is a reason why you're being promoted. I think it's also very important to ask that question to your boss as well, to say why were you promoted, why were you chosen to be promoted versus the rest of them. So at least you kind of know, the reason why you were being picked. And when you have conversations with the rest of the peers, especially during one-on-ones, it is something which you understand at the back of mind that you have every right to be in that position because of that particular endorsement that was given to you by the boss. Because if you do not know why you're there in the first place, there's a lot of second guessing and may not be very helpful. So the clarity does help to give you the good power to understand why you are there for that role at that point of time, in this case. So I would say that to this letter writer, it will not be the same.
Yes.
It will not be the same as before. I mean, in this case, I do not want to sugarcoat it in any way. It will not be the same. So that's why it's important to understand the reason why you're there, and also to understand the definition of leadership. The reason why you're being put there most of the time is because probably the higher ups can see that you're able to bring out the best in the team, to help them to grow, and so on and so forth, right? And then it is not really about losing that friendship. I would probably say to this letter writer to redefine or reframe his or her understanding of friendship in this case, right? To redefine that rather than, it's not going to be the same as before, but it can be better, right? So in this case, it is really about helping them to understand that, okay, so now I'm being put here not because I'm better than you or in any way, but it's because I have this particular skill that I could help you to grow. I can able to bring out the best in you in this case, right? So by understanding that, so the relationship turns into something which is like, my job is to help you to succeed in this role. So if this person can deliver on all those fronts, then there will be trust that's going to be built in this case. And I think that itself ultimately is trust, whether it's a friendship or not, is the foundation of every relationship. I think that's really important to be able to help the other person to achieve what this person wants in this case. I'll stop here. Any thoughts on what I just said?
Oh, I fully agree. I couldn't agree with you more. I think friendship is definitely something that it can coexist. I think that's the first assumption I want to address to the letter writer here, is that actually professional relationship and friendship can coexist. So I'd actually like to pose a question to this letter writer, right? To say that, imagine that in the past, without authority and power, you can actually maintain friendship.
Yeah.
What can you do now that you can actually, now that you are, you have the authority to actually nurture this friendship? Yeah. So that is one question I want them to
that's a
hold
good
it in their
question.
head, because it kind of addressed the assumptions that it is a either or thing. Yeah, I think from the way they wrote the letter, it kind of that assumption stood out for me. So I think, what if you want both? That means you don't get into a binary thinking of this or that, but it's like this and that. And I think as you were talking about friendship, it actually struck to me that there might be two types of friendship. One type of friendship is where you have a good chit chat, you share a lot of past memories and all those things, but then you are just having a great time. Okay, and that's what we do a lot of times in our usual life in outside work and the friends outside work.
Yeah.
But there's also another kind of friendship where you want to kind of like see each other's growth.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's focusing on the future kind of friendship where the two of you or whoever you have your friends with to kind of work towards certain direction of growth. Yeah, I think it's to ask the letter writer to kind of take a step back and say that which friendship actually do you want to forge with this group of people? There might be some team members in the group, right, that actually just want the first kind of friendship. They just want to have happy memories. Yeah, but I don't want to grow. Don't force me to do anything. But there could be also other team members or the gangs, so-called, to kind of like, hey, want to grow with you in that sense. And now that you have authority, you can actually have more empowerment to set me up for success. And I want to be on the journey. I think it's to clarify that. So that's one aspect. The other aspect is, I fully agree, is like, how do you redefine leadership in this case, right? And one concept I love a lot is situational leadership. So it's important for young leaders especially, that to know that in the 8, 10, 16 hours you have in your professional capacity at work, you don't just wear one hat. You wear multiple hats in that 16 hours or 10 hours in different interaction. So in other words, you can continue to wear friendship hat as and when it's needed. It doesn't mean that it's only after you knock off, after work and all this.
Yeah. That reminds me of, because I used to struggle with this friendship leadership, that kind of thing, right? I think it's possibly because I didn't know what I was called to do in this case, right? So it's kind of like, it's almost like, oh, so now I'm just, there was no definition. It was more of like, oh, I'm there to just take care of two. So take care means what? So I really don't know what does that really even means, right? So take care means friendship, So there was a lot of ambiguity and not very clear about it. But over time, I started to be a bit better. I remember doing this, which was actually kind of helpful. But so I would say that, like, okay, right now I literally would do this. I said, right now I am taking out my friendship hat and I'm putting on my the manager's hat, speaking to you this way. So it kind of like almost switch it around. So the person will like, oh, okay, I understand now, because now you're speaking with authority in this case. Yeah. So I think that that little action helped a lot for myself to get the clarity as well, but also to be able to manage the expectation on the other side of the table.
Yes, that's a good point, because I think like the book, like our book, right, we mentioned about leadership is not automatic, so it has to be very intentional. And by changing hats, it kind of prep your state of mind. You also prepped the teammates' state of mind as well. There was once I was coaching conversation to a newly promoted manager, and then she said that, I'm so torn because I want to make my team happy. She wants to uphold their happiness and give them happiness. I say, hey, wait a moment. Your employees or your team members are not pets. You only keep your pets happy. Whether they're happy or not is not your problem. What you do as a leader is to care enough for their growth, such that they can outgrow the company or thrive in the company or whatever. It's not happiness. Happiness is an output. It's not an outcome that you want to aim for.
That's interesting. That's funny, actually. But it is, right? Because sometimes, if you're not very clear about what leadership is all about, then you have your own definition, right? Like, oh, so am I supposed now to be the chief happiness officer to make sure everyone is
Yes.
happy. Is that what I'm supposed to do, right? So in fact, I think that idea did come across my mind before, because I read somewhere before, happy people be able to deliver happier output, more output. So let's keep them happy, that kind of thing. So I think let's quickly help everyone to understand again, to define what the leadership is all about, right? So leadership, also from the book, right, really talks about, of course, being intentional, but intentional of doing what, right? So two things. Number one is to understand that you need to deliver on the results together as a team, right? So you have this team, so you need to deliver the results together as a team. Whatever results, that those things needs to be defined very clearly. So that's the first R. The second R is that along the way you need to be able to foster the relationship as well,
Yes.
right? To help them to grow, to bring out the best in them. So the mission is the destination, but because you are going somewhere together, along the way, that is where life happens. That's where the whole relationship building happens. That's where you bring out the best in that person. So I think the one of the best analogy I can think of is why some actors grow from certain directors in this case, because the directors have a very clear mission to be able to complete this movie in this case, and this is the vision that I want to be able to tell in this case, right? And along the way, they bring out the best in the actors in this case, and they grew, and that the output shows in this case, and in the process, the actors grew as well, and they became better. So I think that's the balance of achieving results as well as also growing or fostering the relationship. So I think that's really important, that once you're a leader, that is what you need to do in this case. And there are times where you need to be able to have tough love as well, right? The loving discipline in this case, right? Why is because you care enough for the person to be able to say, I care enough for you to be able to give such feedback to you. It may sound harsh, but it is actually for your good in this case, right? I care enough. If I don't care, I would have just let you be.
Yes.
In this case, right? It's because I care enough. So I think those kind of so which means it is not just all pets, like keep them happy, that kind of thing, right? But it is able to achieve the corporate mission as well as also to be able to grow individually as well. So I think that definition needs especially new leaders to understand clearly why they are there, right?
Yes. And one thing I want to add
go ahead.
is that, to your point, is that just like when you talk about switching hats, because in organization there are different types of conversations. And a lot of times it's through the conversations that we forge the relationship, and therefore certain conversations really are meant for the professional capacity as a leader, as a reporting line officer, right? Is where, like, when you need to give someone feedback on the work, when you need to hold them accountable for not delivering, when you need to delegate and set clear outcomes. Those are really leadership professional conversations. There will also be some other conversations that is more at a personal level, like, the care and concern. And the care and concern here doesn't mean that you cry with your team members when they break up with their spouse or something. But I think the care and concern is about, hey, you have certain patterns that is stopping your growth, that kind of thing. Or when they are really truly affected by personal commitments and, they're down and you hear them out. Those are the personal and relational type of conversations that then you should take off your manager hat to kind of like establish and reinforce that level of trust. So when we say as leaders we build trust and we build relationship, it doesn't mean that you're constantly can only be a friend, and just take care of the soft side of things, so-called soft side. But a lot of times it's really about, being aware of what the situation demand from you. Sometimes your team member come to you as a friend to talk to or complain about. Sometimes your team member come to you as a boss to ask for increment. So it's about really understanding what each interaction requires. And therefore you have, as a leader, to have the capacity to respond effectively to each of those demands.
I think it goes back to the whole thing about being intentional.
Yes.
As well,
yes.
right? To really
It boils down to
understand
that.
from on the other side, like, what is this person looking for? I mean, it would be annoying, for example, if if for example, if you being a coach and every conversation with your spouse is a coaching conversation.
It's
So,
annoying.
what do you think would be?
We should cook tonight
Why is it important to you?
to eat fish and not vegetable.
Yeah. You're right. You're right. Yeah, I think it is. It is. Yeah. So it's really intentional thinking about to say, okay. So sometimes really asking clarifying question to say, so what do you need from me at this point in time, right? Yeah. Okay. Great. Anything else to add on for this letter writer?
I think one more thing, the last thing I want to add is that given that it's a new role, the person is also navigating his role with the team. It would be a great opportunity to do it sooner than later, is that to establish rules of engagement, like how he wants the team to support him and how the team wants him or her to support them in return. Yeah, because it's new boss, new dynamics after all. So I think it's a good conversation to actually establish that trust and understanding.
I agree with you. I think this is, I think I was sharing in one of the episodes as well when I joined my last company in this case. So, and I was probably I was not probably, I was the most senior person there in this case by age. So everyone was about 22, 23 in this case.
Wow.
So when I went there, the things, the scale tipped over to, 57 or something.
You change your HR statistics.
So as much as I was very, very weary about this because these are young bunch of people, and on one end I can take the stance of like, oh, I'm much more experienced, that kind of thing, right? But I also understand that young people, they may also not respect you because like, hello, influencer marketing, what do you know, uncle? That kind of thing, right? So I wanted to establish the rules of engagement. And how I did that was, there were about 40, 50 people at the time. And I took about a month and a half to just have one-on-one conversations with everyone to understand them, to say like, okay, what are your pressure points? What's keeping you awake at night? But if, I think one question that really helped a lot is that if you were in my shoes, what is the one thing that you feel that should be changed immediately, or what are things that you think that can be changed in this case, so that the company will be better? So
That's a great question.
So such conversations, right, actually help immediately to say that, okay, this person cares enough for the company, but also cares enough for me in this case, right? And of course, you just don't go through the exercise, then you just forget about it. So I actually written down on Excel sheet everyone, like what is important for them, whether or not they've got a particular pet or fears or whatever. So it's almost like a database, and then I would look at it and see what are the lower hanging fruits which I can immediately solve. So once I solve that, I'm accountable. I'll go back to them and say, so these things that you talk about the other day, I've already raised it up, I've done this and so on. So from there, I think ultimately, again, it is what they want ultimately is for to know that number one is that that the boss can do something, right? The boss is competent, right? That's the first level of trust in this case. And the second level of trust, or the second pillar of trust, is also that the boss has integrity. Whatever the boss says would actually carry it out as well. So that's the integrity or character part, right? So the first is competency, second thing is character, and the third one you talk about care as well, right? So to have care and concern in this case. So that is also to these are all the small things sometimes where if you can remember that this person's mom is going through something, and it's sometimes along the corridor you kind of say that, hey, how was the chemo, and so on. So things like this helps the person to know that you care enough. I think the other thing that most leaders don't do much, I think, but that is something which I feel that can only be done after some level of trust is established, is the fourth C, which is challenge. I think it's important to be able to challenge them as well, because you want to bring out the best in them, right? So giving feedback and so on is not because I'm a boss, I have to give feedback. It's because I want to see you grow. So that's the reason for it. So these are the so-called the 3 to 4 C's, which actually would help to establish a trust, so that so that everyone will be performing. We'll actually create a high-performing culture in this case.
You brought up the very, very important point about trust. It is the little things.
Yeah.
It's really a lot of the little things, and it's the accumulation of it. And that's why some people see that leadership is a discipline. And this is also why that, sometimes leadership is not for everyone.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong if you don't embark on a leadership journey, but leadership is really about putting that heart in and care about the little things. You follow up on the trivial things, because behind every big stuff like strategy, how strategy look like on a day-to-day basis is accumulation of the different tasks you do.
Yeah.
So and the same with relationship and trust. So that's why when it comes to the little things, it is important to keep that in mind. It's about what kind of little things are you building trust, or you are breaching trust. Breaching the trust. So that's why a lot of leadership talk about being congruent. You have to be consistent, walk the talk. All these are made up of the little things, because to be honest, if you tell them that leadership only shows up in 3 times of each year, I think a lot of people can excel in that. It's like taking an exam. There are many people who pass exam, but not everyone can call themselves a learner. So I think that's something for all the young leaders to think about.
I mean, this reminded of one of Simon Sinek's viral video about relationships, right? It's all the little things that matters. So perhaps media is not helpful. In a romantic relationship, you always see that the grand gestures, run after the other person, along the way, the rain, along the way you carry this bunch of flowers, then you budge the door, then you show your love, you complete me, that kind of thing, right? So people think that, these things, if I do these things, these grand gestures, it will work, right? But it's the little things, right? Similar in this case, leadership is about the little things anyway.
That's true.
Great. Okay, so what are we telling the letter writer is that first thing is to understand that friendship and being a leader can coexist. So it's to be able to redefine how does that look like, right, for this person. Everyone can be different, but to understand that it is not an either or, it's not binary, but it can coexist in this case. The second thing is also the letter writer needs to also understand the definition of leadership, like why is this person put there and what is the role of a leader. And we talk about able to drive results as a team, but also at the same time to be able to foster that relationship as well. And foster means to bring out the best, to grow in them. And we touched a little bit about trust as well. There are 4 facets, or kind of like 4 pillars of trust. We talk about showing competency as a boss. Second thing is to be able to have the character, the integrity, whatever you say, you will actually do it in this case. Third one, to show care. And the fourth one, if need to be able to challenge as well, to give difficult feedback, not because you're the boss, but because you care enough for the person to give the kind of tough love in this case. And lastly, I think that the caring part is the little things, right? To build that trust, it's very much like romantic relationships in this case, or spousal relationship. It's a little thing. Leadership is always about the little things that will help to create the bond or that trust in this case. And we also talked about that since this person has just been promoted, do not waste the opportunity to establish the rules of engagement up front, in this case, to have one-on-ones, to be able to just ask them to say what will be helpful for you to grow, or the other question that I said before, if you're in my shoes, what do you think that can change so that the company can grow? So these questions would be helpful, and to be able to establish that hey, I'm here to help you to grow, but I'm your guardian in this case, right? So I'm going to make sure. So there is a certain kind of like boundary that's really being drawn by having this one-on-one.